All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Solana ecosystem. I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. We are on for another episode of RareFUD Radio. We appreciate you joining as always. Make sure to go to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and drop us a subscribe. Leave a comment, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know off stream. Maybe we can fix something. I know last stream we had a little bit of audio technical difficulties. Should be fixed now. Let us know if it's not. Seriously, the comments are the best place to let us know if we're having any issues. It does help tremendously. Oh, sometimes we can't hear it on our end. You, the viewers, can let us know. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Joined with me, we have Dorian, as always, the new Ute lister. What is going on, Dorian? How you doing, my friend?
Yo, fam. How you doing? I'm happy to be here for episode 6. Time's just flying by, man.
Oh, yeah. It looks like Joe's joining us a little bit late, but I'm going to wait for him to get all set up and stuff like that. Hey, man, congrats on Ute list.
Thanks,
I'm going to bring Joe up real quick. Make sure he's all ready. Looks like he's getting situated here before I bring him up. What is going on, Joe? How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Sorry. I was cleaning the pool. Had to pop in, lost track of time a little bit. Glad to see everybody, man. Wait, did you see Dorian got Ute list?
Yeah, I saw he got Ute listed, bro. We congratulating him.
I'm pretty pumped, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
Dude, congratulations.
Thanks,
much deserved, bro. You are a net positive for the space. I keep interrupting Bison. I suck. I'm excited. I love you.
No, you're good. No, I would wholeheartedly agree that he is definitely a net positive for the space. I'm so happy for him and much deserved, man. I'm excited for you and yeah, we can obviously we're gonna be talking about Utes today. We're gonna be talking about Dust because it's popping off right now. RR, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you, man. Let's fucking go. That's right, dude. Let's go, Dorian.
I'm still waiting for you, Bison. I can't do this alone, man.
We'll see what happens. Dude, there's so much time left. I'm not too worried. I'm just chilling on Dust right now.
You're gonna get it, man.
Look, if I don't, it's so much fun watching others win. So look, if anything, I actually kind of hope that I'm one of the last ones announced because honestly, it's pushing me towards trying to be better for the ecosystem. So it's motivation for me. If they want to save me for last, that's great. Go ahead, keep doing it. It's kind of pushing me to bring more information and more value to the ecosystem. So
love that.
Yeah.
Dude, you have been, man. So like you inspired me to start what I'm doing. So it's like if I got it, there's no way that you're not getting to it. I can't, I'll hit up my boy Frank. And then we'll have a conversation real quick, and I'll make sure you get through, dog.
That's right. I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I do keep seeing the names pop up, and I'm like, man, I want access to them, right? If we're all in the same community, it would be good for the show too. We get more people on here, and we will be starting AMAs and stuff like that here relatively soon. But really, what we're trying to do with these first few episodes that we've been doing with RareFUD Radio is really just kind of establish ourselves, build a connection with the audience, and just talk about the market. Eventually, we will be getting projects in. We'll be getting influencers. We'll be getting people who are gigabrain in the space, whether it is in NFTs or maybe even DeFi. We'll be talking about that in a little bit too. But I really do want to focus on Dust and D-Gods and Utes right now because things are going insane right now. They're going parabolic for dead gods. And I remember Joe tweeting out, he goes, look, anything that was in that 250 sub 250 range is an absolute bargain. I'm looking to stack another one if I can. 250 is a lot of commitment for some people. I was looking at charts. I was like, oh, Dust halfening's coming up here soon. Maybe we see a little bit more downside, and I could not be more wrong. Obviously, it has gone nuclear. We're up at like 420 yesterday, which is just, it's dank, right? So I love to see it. And Dust is popping off too. We're at 250 per Dust right now, up 150% off its lows at $1. So look, it feels good. I know Dorian and I were shouting it from the heavens that this is the most like it was honestly worrying me how obvious the trade was.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Like I was like, man, is this gonna happen or not? Because I feel like this is just way too obvious right now. But Dorian, I'm gonna let you take the stage because you actually said exactly what was gonna happen. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, dude. So I tweeted back on, I think, like August 8th, like when we're still in the bear market, but when everybody was super depressed, looking for, I think Degen Town was popping off at the time. But like, in my opinion, and picking up dust was the most obvious play. Did we know the exact timeline of when it was going to happen? No, but we knew it was coming. And at that time, I think it was around $1.08 or whatnot. I'm like, it's clear as day. Picking up dust is the play right now. People are so short-sighted in this space that they're too worried about trying to make the quickest liquidity instead of the play that's most guaranteed. So I was like, just pick up some dust and chill. Just dust and chill, and you'll be good, man. And then what happened? Oh, now everybody's like, oh, man, I wish I would have bought. But you put out a tweet the other day, Bison, you're like, you had 2 months to accumulate. What are you talking about, dude? You're not picking this up. So it's just like, it's okay to understand your trading style and miss out on these things. But when you try to hindsight play it like, oh, man, I would have done this. No, you wouldn't have. This play was clearly the thing to do for months now. And you didn't do it. And guess what? Coming to terms with that is okay, because it'll happen again when taiyo Pilots comes up. So don't worry. You'll miss that one too.
Yes, sir. That's right. Joe, I know you've been chilling on dust for a while. As a dead god holder, you of course have been chilling on dust here. Did you sell any when it was at its lows, or were you just like, nah, bro, this is like Pico bottom. I'm chilling on dust until we start rising because we know it's up?
So that's actually funny, Bison. I trade dust like a scalper or a day trader since February. But I always keep a stack and no less than a said number. I'm not going to say it because it doesn't matter, but there's always a said number I keep. And then anything on top of that is my trading stack. And I've the dust Solana pair looked really juicy August 1st. I even gave a call out in D Traders about that pair and it's within itself. And so, yeah, I mean, I personally sold dust around $1.30. I sold it again at $1.88. I sold it again at $1.40. But to me, that's my trading portfolio. I have a hodl portfolio of dust that I'm not touching until I hear everything that's coming from Kevin, who's running Dust Labs. So I hear everything, the legalities of dust and everything that they said are coming. I'm not touching that because I do believe speculation-wise, this is one SPL token that has the ability to grab liquidity from cross chains, right? So I'm good with literally treating this as a true investment, almost like buying a taiyo Gen 1 or something. I'm treating it just as that, my hodl bag. But yeah, you can make money trading dust, guys. It's very simple. You just look at the daily supports and resistances and trust them. You buy at the supports and you sell at the resistances, and you just keep doing that. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Easy peasy, man.
Well said, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. We just saw that accumulation for such a long time. And, you know, we said it before, we'll say it again, that we didn't get the timing right solely because of, you know, it was Duppies and then it was going to be in June and then pushed to July. And now we're in August and it sounded like maybe September, October. I don't know. But that's stuff, that's the fundamental part, right? Like the fundamental analysis that comes out that you're like, okay, now we can see it just holding this range of, you know, sitting around $1 to $1.25 was really the accumulation zone. I mean, it was clear as day. And now we're seeing it play out. It did wick up on some places to like $4 and something cents. That was a quick wick. I'm sure what that was people were buying it off of a specific DEX and not like a Jupiter aggregator or Hello Moon who uses Jupiter. Where you had a ton of slippage and somebody just like decided, hey, I'm going to buy like 10,000 dust, right?
All at once, correct.
Yeah.
Yabara, you asked, so you got to have some dust in your wallet to apply. No, you don't. I've seen plenty of people have 0 dust in their wallet and get you listed. So
but I'm sorry, Bison. I just wanted to talk about a current issue that I didn't expect to happen was that a lot of people who are getting these whitelists without dust are actually getting priced out of their own being able to mint, man. It's like right now, a mint cost is about 25 SOL for a duppy. But once again, it's like, it's still kind of their fault in the sense. It's like, you know, you wanted to apply for the duppies or ute list or whatever is going on. It's like, you could have picked up enough dust a month ago to have it just in case. And if you wanted to sell during the FOMO because you didn't get it, boom, you would have been net positive. So it's like my tolerance for, I guess, empathy towards people who was like, man, I really got this list but can't mint. It's like, well, just a little bit of planning would have set you up for success.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it was one of those things where it's like, why not have it on hand just in case? And if you had to DCA down, that's fine. I mean, that's why we say don't blow your load right off the rip until we start seeing movement and we start seeing volume pick up. And I mean, just looking at the charts, like I said, we started seeing that volume in that accumulation range really pick up. So for everybody, I think that's a very interesting point, Dorian, that some people are definitely getting priced out of their whitelist.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens with those spots when it comes time to mint. If people are like, bro, I can't afford 30 SOL in order to mint this, which to me is kind of a mistake. Like, yeah, you should. Like, if you have that liquidity,
you better find that liquidity.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick. But I do think that brings up another point where we're going to start seeing a lot of these major, and we've already seen pullbacks on a lot of major collections for people chasing liquidity for dust. And I think it's going to continue happening as we start seeing dude, dust is a scarce asset. Like it really is. It is not a high supply. What is it at? And, Joe, you know, it's probably like what, 3.3?
33 million is put out forever, and there's only about 4 million that's able to be claimed at the moment in circulation. So what I want people to think about and to theorize is the game theory that Frank bases everything off of, right? If you have dust being halved and halved and halved and all accumulated by the team, most of it, right? Not sold, just put into a wallet. It's not burned. What happens once dead gods are done and DeGods are done mining the token itself? What happens after that? That's when the fun begins for me, right? Because that's just not, you're not going to just stop getting income or utility back. Frank's got something planned, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I really think there's a chance that a VC company comes in and buys the Authority wallet. That will then prove liquidity to a central exchange or a decentralized exchange, right? And from there, you can do a lot of cool things with airdropping dust and different ideas can be played around there. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I've seen a lot of Ethereum spaces. I've been not hosting, but I've been brought up in a few Moonbird spaces where a lot of big guys in Ethereum, big name guys that are building projects and everything, they're so interested in this project, DeGods. They're just interested in the SPL token, the community. And in fact, they're starting to trickle down into Solana itself and realize its net positives through transaction rate and speed and things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, this is truly the best thing that could have happened within a bear market, I think, for our Solana ecosystem. So yeah, it's super exciting for everybody, I think. Even if you're not into Utes, right? You can play the dust rally. You can play the liquidity rally after Utes, right? With taiyo and things of that nature. There's so much time to make money in this space, guys. So yeah, we're here. We're early.
Yeah, 100%.
Well said, dog.
I'm very curious what happens after Utes and what happens with dust in general. Like you said, it is a very scarce asset. Eventually, dead gods are going to be done mining, quote unquote, the dust supply. And what happens after that? Frank's got cool stuff up his sleeve, and I would never choose to fade Frank and team.
Oh, no.
I mean, that it sounds like a really bad plan, but it is fun seeing everybody get Ute listed. It's fun seeing what's happening with dust and really what's happening with dead gods. The fact that, I mean, they just took off to 420. I don't know if it's like FOMO of, oh my goodness, it's starting to settle in. Like, I see all these people getting Ute listed. I'm not getting Ute listed. Therefore I buy a dead god, or what's happening there. I'm curious about it because there's still so much room left to go on Ute list announcements. There's still 2,500 at least announcements to make. So I would imagine there's plenty of time, and you shouldn't really feel the heat, but we're almost 1,000 in, and maybe that's a catalyst for dead gods. What's your take on this, Joe? Why are dead gods just absolutely ripping right now?
Yeah, so I do think the catalyst is cross-chain liquidity. People coming in from other chains that don't have any exposure to Solana NFTs, and they see dead gods. And for a lot of these guys that are investing in these, $10,000 to $15,000 is probably a couple % of their portfolio. So for them, it's a risk, but it's not a full risk. So I think we're seeing cross-chain liquidity start to come in. I don't think this was Solana liquidity. I don't think these were players in Solana sitting here waiting to disperse liquidity. I think it's Frank's been taking W's on spaces lately, especially with Ethereum. And I think we're seeing literally cross-chain money coming in. Like if you look at Hello Moon, you can see the transfers from other chains into Solana, and it spiked so far in the past couple weeks. So there could be some correlation with that. So yeah, I think people are realizing, yo, I can get a dead god, keep building in this community that's really early still, and it's just now getting mainstream light shed on it. Grab a dead god, get a U, and people are just starting to see that, you know, that dead god plus U equals Ethereum airdrop that Frank already basically confirmed. So there's just a lot of hype and excitement, and for someone where it's just a couple percent of your portfolio, why not? And I think we're seeing a lot of that happen.
Yep,
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Bit Nation asked the question. He says, "I got into the space last week. Would you say it's still a good time to buy Dust? I can buy today." Now that I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and take the first responses. Dorian, what would you say as far as Dust?
Yeah, I'm not as good of a trader as Joe. I kind of like trade off like narratives and like momentum and like trying to front run the market. And so I picked up Dust back when it was $1.08, and I made profit from it already. But I'm not good at trading. These levels are too high for me right now, so I wouldn't participate in it.
That's fair. Yeah, Joe, what's your take? Would you buy Dust right now? Again, this is not financial advice. We do not have a crystal ball or anything like that. So I want to make that perfectly clear before we go ahead and move any further. But yeah, Joe, what would be your take on buying Dust right now? Would you do it if you had none?
So if I had none and I wanted exposure, say I had $1,000, I was ready to put in, right? This is not financial advice. This is what I would do. I'm just talking off the top of my head. If I had $1,000, say right now, I would probably buy 10% today, right? Put it in, get it in, 10% market, boom. I would probably take another 10 to 15% and set limit orders at certain supports down on Radium. That would leave me, let's say, roughly 70% of my portfolio that I'm ready to go into Dust. That's when I would start looking at major support levels, such as, you know, $1.15, $1.88, and I would wait. And I would see reactions at this level. Are we creating divergences? Are we creating momentum swings? And then I would DCA in more aggressively. Some days, you know, you might see a decent pump and you might want to DCA in and just not as aggressively. So I would go with that route. I would start DCAing in right now just because we've seen a hard FOMO pump and wait for some reactions here, right? It's always okay. If it keeps going, you didn't hit the bottom, great. You got 10% today. And I think that's a good way to capital preserve your money.
Yeah. Just piggybacking. I mean, that was a really good take, Joe. And I'll echo those sentiments. So what Joe's saying right here is like, hey, if you wanted to pick up a little bit right now, I'm not opposed to it. But when you start seeing like this massive rally going on right here, it's usually best to wait for kind of a retest of certain supports. And what we're seeing right here, like Joe mentioned, is that $1.88. That was a pretty big resistance for us that once we broke it, we kind of just nuked up. So what Joe was saying, and I will echo his sentiments, is if I had no Dust today, if I was going myself, what I would do, and this is not financial advice, is maybe take, 10% of what you have and just say, at least I have some exposure to it. If it continues to nuke up, great. But I would also set aside certain portions. So there would be maybe of that 90% you have left over for a Dust trade, I would say about 30% at 1.88. I would say about 30% at 1.43. We saw that, or 1.36. We saw that be a nice support and resistance zone. And then you could always set it all the way down towards $1. Now, I don't think we're going to hit it there. So you may want to allocate more towards the 188 to 136 range. But that would be what I do. And like they said, it is best not to just FOMO in all of your capital into a trade. DCA in and find those levels that you feel really comfortable with and just kind of go from there.
Great. And Bison, that's beautiful. And here a quick tip for you guys. If you go onto Hello Moon, right, and you go to indicators and you type in VPVR. Yeah,
volume profile.
Right. That is very good for a SPL token like Dust, right? When you're seeing $1 million to $2 million volume for a few days, you can start trusting this VPVR. I like to now go to settings real quick on that VPVR, Bison.
Yeah.
and set it to 100 rows for me right there.
Yeah. Okay, so
Right. It should be inputs. Let's go to inputs.
there we
real
go.
quick.
Okay, I was like, no, it's not in style.
All right, and
so
then row size. Put in 100 for me.
Yep. So let's just go ahead and do that.
Boom.
But yeah,
All right. And now,
I usually do anywhere from 50 to 100 on
Love
this
it.
as well. Just because right here you can see exactly where the volume's
my
coming
man.
in.
Look at
And it literally lines up with Confluence on like some of these support lines, right?
Mhm.
Boom, right there, $1.38. We were just talking about something right around those range that, look, we saw a lot of activity there. It was a support and resistance, and this is free. Now on TradingView, you do have to pay for the pro version in order to get this across all tokens. So I don't have the pro version of TradingView anymore, but back in 2017, 2018, VPVR was my best friend. This is a very visual way of seeing where price activity meets. And for me, I love graphs. I come from an economics background, so kind of seeing where it's almost like a supply and demand chart, right? I mean, it's a very easy way of seeing, okay, this is a supply zone right here. We've already nuked past it. This is going to be where I set my buys. And if we retest that, great. We can also see right before it takes off where you see this gray area happen. This is where not a lot of activity is happening. You start seeing things pick up in this range. So this is where I would kind of line up.
That's beautiful what you pointed out as well, Bison, right? So you can play that dip, that retracement back down to test the imbalance, right? Like Bison said, that gray area is all imbalances there, right? So you'd want to come back down to where that starts to turn orange again. And you can expect a retest there in a healthy market. That's when you would want to load up again, right? And that's honestly, as an investor, I'm hoping for a pullback there, right? Because I have a bunch of orders on radio lined up there. So Bison, you are awesome, man. Thank you so much helping me input what I missed out on that. So yes, great.
No, absolutely.
Hey, I picked up a thing or two from both of you because, like I said, I'm not a trader. I like pick my points, and I'm like, once it hits that target, I'm like out and I'm moving on to the next one.
Yes. RR, is that Ronnie Rax? I can't remember if that's Ronnie Rax, but in the chat he's saying TradingView Pro is worth it. I wholeheartedly agree and brought up a really good point that we are coming up on Black Friday here relatively soon. They always have an incredible deal on TradingView Pro, and I would agree that if you are interested in the DeFi space or trading tokens or anything like that, Ricky Rich, there you go. Ricky Rich, I appreciate that tidbit because that's when I got it almost every single year up until 2020. I don't know why I just kind of stopped using it, but really all I do is trade horizontals for the most part. I just kind of visualize where supply and demand is happening. Eventually, you find your own trading style, but TradingView Pro is definitely worth it. There's a ton of great material, not only with the indicators they use, but also just the content they produce as well for pro members. So yes, it's not a shill. This is not an ad. We just love Hello Moon, TradingView, all that good stuff just helps you make yourself a more informed decision. So this is great. Honestly, I'm so excited for the ecosystem. This is playing out exactly how we thought it would, where dead gods are going to go parabolic. I love that Joe filled in the information as well, because I totally forgot that point, that yes, there's going to be an airdrop for those who have dead gods and Utes, and you kind of merge those together, you're going to get ETH airdrop. So he's crossing the bridge, and I really do appreciate that. On top of the fact that we are now a top 5 project by market cap too, which is the first Solana project to do so, if I remember correctly. Which, I mean, that's huge. It is bringing in that price discovery of like, hey, Solana isn't just for poors anymore. We got an actual project that is valid in the time in the space. So I'm excited for it. I do think this is going to be, it just kind of lines up with our theory that Solana is really going to be the place for the next bull run, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, we are incredibly bullish on Utes, Dead Gods, Dust, the whole ecosystem here on RareFUD Radio. Let's move into our next topic, though, unless you guys have any finishing points that we missed.
No,
cool.
We're good, man. We can keep going.
All right. Love to hear it. So ABC, this is a pretty big topic right now. I want to say debate. It's a topic. It's very interesting to see HGE's approach to ABC. I don't know if you guys caught the most recent tweets from him, but 11 hours ago, he says, abracadabra. He goes, making passive income on all your NFTs as easy as ABC. That's a very cryptic tweet, right? And I can go ahead and share my screen real quick, just so you can see what we're talking about. Now, if you don't know who HGE is, he's one of the biggest Solana whales. Came over from ETH and as 9x9x9 ETH and just kind of brought a ton of liquidity with him. He's been a pioneer in the ecosystem as far as being one of the first movers, along with like some of the most notable people like Soul Big Brain and everything in between. So this is a cryptic tweet to me. For someone who said there's no roadmap and then going across as saying making passive income on all your NFTs, what's your guys' take on this? And I want to go with Joe first.
Yeah, so me personally, I have some friends that, you know, they know some things about HG, how he came to fame, how he made most of his money between the 2014, 2016 years. I'm not going to speculate on that. And I'm not going to speculate on his true intentions on the project itself. I think it's a good place to make money. You can follow the wallets. We talked about it, a lot of big wallets are accumulating under 2 SOL. So you'll start to see probably some exit liquidity around 5 to 10 SOL with I mean, just straight FOMO, right? You say there's no roadmap for legality reasons. You're just dropping it. You don't have to cover yourself at all. And then you start to drop nuances of passive income and stuff. They're just trigger words. You're bringing in more volume. You're putting more money into your pocket. And it's just what are you going to do with your liquidity, bro? You're going to build with us because that'd be awesome. You're going to give back to people. That'd be awesome. Or are you just going to try to use trigger words and sail away with a bunch of liquidity and money? So I don't know. I've made some money from ABC. I still hold a couple. And yeah, it'll be exciting to see where they go. I mean, he's a huge, huge, huge wallet. He's a huge whale with a lot of friends that are huge whales as well. So we shall see. As a trader, I love it. I love volatility. Yeah. But as a person with morals and values and ethics, it's like it's trouble for me sometimes. So that's where I'm standing with it.
For sure. Dorian, what's your take on this tweet?
Man, I think it's just like I mean, he doesn't get royalties from secondary, but I think I guess keeps people entertained. I mean, I'm not reading too much into it. I don't know what his plans are for the market, but I don't know what his plans are for the project, but the market loves it. And so you can see that by the amount of trading volume that's happening with it. For me personally, I'm sitting this one out. This is not like really the type of projects I'd like to jump in. I'm more of a mid to long-term investor. But yeah, as Joe said, this is an amazing trading opportunity, man. You love this type of announcements because this thing is volatile as heck. It's like, on the first day, like a couple days ago, it ran up from 0.9 to like, 4 SOL floor, then pulled back to 2.3 and then ran up again. So like, that's just like prime territory. If you're a good trader like Joe, it's like, you want to be in this type, you want to see this type of volatility. And who knows? It's like, I'm willing to bet it's like HG waits a little bit longer. Price will pull back down again. Boom, another announcement. But as far as his plans for a roadmap, and like, I'm not reading too much into that.
Right. No, and he has started coming out. I mean, originally it was no roadmap or anything like that. I don't even think this is necessarily completely his doing because we started seeing threads like this. And basically he talks about his vision. He talks about why does Bitcoin have the highest market cap? Doesn't even do that many transactions or have smart contracts. It's because it's more decentralized than the others. So basically he's saying you don't need to worry that Satoshi will do something stupid tomorrow and the price will crash. And a centralized entity will always have too much influence in itself and eventually lead to issues regarding trust. He's the creator of ABC, and he did what he accomplished, bring ABC to the blockchain, basically saying there's no fees or anything like that. It's immutable. And really, he's asking and pushing the community to build on top of it. I like that sentiment. For me, it's a fun project. I mean, like like Dorian said on the last stream, nobody was holding your gun to your head, making you buy this or anything like that. This is all up to choice. I like that he's pretty much being like a laissez-faire approach to this, where he's like, hey, I want more owners. I want more holders. I want people to do cool stuff with it. All I did was bring it to the blockchain. You guys go nuts with it. It is up to 64K in Solana volume. We start seeing stuff like there's even more magic there. Now there is a Discord, apparently. That was 32 minutes ago, but it's ABC community. I'm not sure if he started it or if anybody else did. It's one of those things where maybe this is a true community project. Who knows what it looks like? Dorian, do you have any feedback on any of these tweets or any of these new ones?
regarding like these whole community-led projects, I'm kind of bearish on new ones because there's so many community-focused projects that's already existing. It's like this one is everybody's hyped now about this being a community-based project because the price is going up and everybody's talking about it. But as soon as that attention goes somewhere else, it's like this is likely to fall like most other projects of a similar utility. So yeah, that's just kind of my sentiment around it. I just think everybody's attention is on this until Utes comes up, and then people will go on to the next project.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, do you kind of echo that sentiment?
Yeah, I definitely echo that sentiment. I mean, if his true intentions were to bring liquidity in the market, meaning you buy this said NFT for $1.23, sell it for 4 SOL, now you got roughly 2+ SOL to go and play with, and you're putting it back. I love that paradigm. I truly do. And if he really is doing that for what I'm thinking, then big ups to him. I just hope this is something that slowly fades away and a bunch of liquidity disappears, So I got high hopes for it, for the ecosystem for sure. And honestly, it's done just that. If you look at around 20 to 30,000 Magic Eden volume, and then since ABC has dropped, right, we've seen a significant increase. And it was at first ABC pulling that, but if you look, it's starting to spread evenly again. So it could be a good thing at the end of the day. Let me get my optimism pants on for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I like that people are taking a different approach, and HG wants to try this. So I'm all for people trying this. You have the liberty to participate in it or not. That's the whole thing of Web3. And I like that he's following that ethos. So we will continue to see what happens with ABC. Again, the fact that there's 0% creator royalties really just shows that, look, there's a good trading opportunity, at least in here. You're not getting that percentage off the top, and they don't want it. I mean, I would imagine they have a war chest, because that 1.23 SOL that was initially listed as has to go somewhere, and we'll see if he cycles it into other collections or if he cycles it back into ABC. We'll see. We don't know what happens. So net positive for the space to be determined. I think so. I think so. I think it's a fun project, and I think it is increasing some people's bank balances, and if anything, it's a fun trading simulator too, to see if you have that emotional wherewithal to kind of brace through the FUD and FOMO and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and change directions over to EZU, right? EZU. If we go to EZU, we can go to the launch pad real quick. I'm sure it's the first tab. We will see that it is only 49% minted out. This is a total of 15K items, and the ETH mint is 0.2. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you transfer it into SOL terms, that's about 9.5 SOL per right now. That is a whole lot of money. They do have, this is coming from Vultura Labs. If you guys don't know who Vultura is, he's a prominent figure over in the ETH space. Has already had a collection, Psychedelics Anonymous. This is a cross-mint enabled platform, so you can mint with both ETH and SOL. Guys, do you see this being a net positive? Do you guys know anything about EZU in order to increase your bullishness or bearishness or anything like that? We'll go with Dorian first.
Yeah, NFT Inspect produced a thread on them yesterday, and they seem like they have similar utility to Utes or whatnot. I don't know. I heard of Psychedelics Anonymous, but I just honestly think it's kind of bad timing. The market is just really trying to consolidate liquidity for Utes, and like to have such a high mint price and SOL. Like, yes, I understand in ETH people are used to these prices, but when you're trying to have a 9 SOL, close to 9 SOL mint price, it's like that's not going to happen. People were losing it over a bubblegoose being 7 SOL. People are less, and I think that effect isn't really carrying over to Utes because Utes is in dust. So it's a little bit harder to connect those two. But yeah, man, I just think it's bad timing on his part. If this was done like post Utes, I think it might have been a little bit more successful.
Yeah. What's your take on it, Joe? Do you have any insight as to what EZU is trying to accomplish or anything? I have some tidbits on a brief amount of research I did, but nothing super in depth.
No, all I knew from it was that you had to lock up your ETH or something with it for like 5 days or something of that matter, and it's like where to earn, and it just seems to me like a cash grab, to be honest with you. But maybe not. I would love to hear your take, Bison.
Yeah, so just looking at Psychedelics Anonymous, they currently have a 0.65 ETH floor price. So looking at about 3.25 times what the mint price is going for on EZU. It is a 10K collection, if I'm reading this right. Yeah, it's 9.6. So I am curious as to what the reasoning for it is. Like why did they decide to go with another collection? With Utes, it made sense for what they were trying to do. They're trying to take dust out of circulation. They're trying to increase the DeGods ecosystem in a prominent manner. And when you are a top 5 project across all chains, you are allowed to do that. Like that is you're the number one project on Solana. I think that's when you're like, okay, let's start thinking about efficient ways that make reasonable meaning to actually introduce a second collection. So yeah, I'm kind of the opinion that it does feel a little cash grabby to me. That is a very high mint price for Solana.
Yeah.
But again, this is cross mint enabled. They are an Ethereum first platform, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to do anything big, especially since it's only 49% minted out, and that's across all chains too. So it's not just Solana, but it is Ethereum as well. To me, the where to earn thing, I remember being on a space and Nate Rivers was talking about they were doing an AMA with ECU, and Nate Rivers was like, bro, are you guys collecting any data? And they were very vague with it. And I would say that honestly, I wish they would just come out and say if they were. Like they want to know where your location is so they can sell it to advertisers or anything like that.
Bison. And that's the cash cow is data right now, right? So
Yeah.
anybody's shying away that they're not collecting data, they are collecting data. And I mean, they want to put like a North Face on you, and they put bounties on your local hiking trails, and then throw your North Face gear, knock out the trails, and get rewarded for it, basically, right? Which sounds really cool, but like that actual infrastructure using a non-invasive NFC chip that's going to be placed in the clothing itself is like that infrastructure, that chip itself is so brand new, a geotagging chip that could be that thin. So like cool, innovative stuff, right? But we're talking like Charles Hoskins, right? Where you're just going to put this out and hope for the best where things mess up. So like I would like to know more if they have things ready to go, implemented now, or do they need this seed round money basically, right, from our minting? Is this your seed round money to go out and get developers and actually put proof of work in? So that's my question to the team, right? You have it based, ready to go, and this is just marketing and getting your people to basically test and run, or are you using this as a seed round, basically? So that would be my two main questions.
Yeah, I think I need more information before I give any like hard verdict on it, but it does seem like a lot, especially given the market conditions going on right now, that you should just wait for Sol to kind of pump a little bit if you're going to do a cross-mint enabled one. And even Ethereum, I mean, Ethereum's pretty much begging for plays to be done right now. So the fact that it isn't really doing numbers when it's an Ethereum first kind of project, it does kind of worry me about Ethereum in general. Ethereum has a lot of liquidity, and they may be coming over now that, like Joe said, where it's a trickle down effect of Ethereum money is now interested in what DeGods are doing at the very least. So we will continue to watch out what's happening with EZU right now. Only 50% minted, not really anything I'm interested in, but we'll see what happens with the project. I do want to turn our attention over real quick to what is happening in Solana. So we are getting an update, 1.11. I was checking out some tweets from Raj himself, and we are hitting on testnet 13K plus TPS, 100% uptime, low ping. It does seem like it's going to be more reliable. I do think this will actually introduce, especially when you combine it with Dust and what's happening over there, we may see a little bit of a bull run in DeFi. We can see some stuff popping off over there. And one of the other factors that I think will play into this narrative is L'Affinity Flares is up in the top 12 projects on Magic Eden in volume right now, which is a DeFi project. So this is my sort of thesis, is that when we have a more stable network where you can have mints and not worry about any sort of margin trading or anything like that happen, we're going to see some more people start trading some of these governance tokens and DeFi protocols in itself. Have you guys been scoping out anything on the DeFi side? Is anything popping out to you? Joe, I want to go with you first. Oh, you're muted, Joe.
Yeah, can't hear you, man.
Sorry about that. It's funny that you mentioned L'Affinity Flares. I actually did some advising for that project like probably 3 or 4 months ago now, just from the marketing standpoint. But regardless of that, I think their pump is set on a different set of principles alone, and that allows people to start trickling their ideas about DeFi. They see that Lifinity Fair pump and what's DeFi doing. But yeah, within myself, I actually like to play in Aave DeFi. I'm a fan of Aave DeFi. And actually, I'm looking more into some of these deeper DeFi plays that are popping up on the Solana chain as now. So yeah, I got my hands into some things. I think I might put out a list of some of my top DeFi. That might be a good idea, Bison. Actually, get a comprehensive list together.
Yeah, make sure you go ahead and follow Joe as well as Dorian on Twitter. You can see Joe. He is at JoeSoul212 if I'm not mistaken, Joe. And then Dorian is at Dorian_W. There is that 3 in there. Make sure you check that out, as well as check out his YouTube channel. And Dorian is making great content, continuing to pump out the content, and he's getting better and better with each video. So, I do think there's DeFi plays here. Dorian, have you been checking out any DeFi? I know you're mainly in the NFT space, but
I haven't really been checking out any DeFi recently, just because I'm in bear market. But if there's an opportunity for money to be made in DeFi, I don't mind going back to my roots.
Right.
But I do think it's important to ensure that the network is stable enough to have like limit orders be placed on time, because DeFi is a huge driver to adoption of a chain. So it's like Solana can't survive solely off of NFTs. It's like the whole point of like blockchain is DeFi and essentially decentralized finance. So it's like if you're taking the fundamentals of a blockchain out, it's like, what, now we're just trading art? So it's like I'm always rooting for like the network to become better, to handle more transactions, and to also bring more adoption into DeFi.
Yeah, well said. I wholeheartedly agree, and I do think that DeFi is definitely like the backbone of a major network, like we've seen with Solana, and Solana is prime for it. If we can get that network stability going, we already have DPS. Look, DeFi is a different beast almost, where they value stability almost above anything else, right? They want to make sure that, yes, exactly. They want to make sure that their funds are locked up and safe, and that they also can put in orders and not worry about like cascading liquidity when networks are down or something and they come back and all their money's gone, right? So it is one of those things that when we start seeing this roll out to the mainnet on Solana, it should give us a nice little boost in DeFi, and therefore we could see some money trickle into NFTs as well. We're always looking at bullish factors as far as the ecosystem in itself, and I think that DeFi is definitely a play for us. Any closing remarks on that, guys, before we head into what I would consider our final topic, and then we'll go into some alpha and take any questions from the audience?
Now we can keep moving on my end, man.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's of course we're going to talk about one-on-ones, because we have
to do that.
I know. I've gotten a lot of feedback that a lot of people are valuing our inputs, and we're turning them on to artists right now. And like, I've been saying that, especially in this bear market, this has been a very fun place to be. So
Bison. My man made me probably about 80 to 100, almost 80, about 60 to 80 sold in the past couple of days just from one-on-one. Like, I'm not even kidding.
That's
from Bison's. Oh, bro, I scooped some Degen Poet. I scooped multiple of each Pokemon. I've taken profits. I still hold a set. I still have extra. So yeah, I mean, just that alone has gotten you can really, if you find an eclectic artist that has really cool, innovative art, Bison, I'm starting to learn that there's still some money to be made, and get to a point where you're in the green and you're holding a piece of art that you truly love, and you don't ever have to think about it again because it's free, basically. And I love that. I love to be able to trade, make a profit, and hold a one-of-one with no emotion. So thank you. I want to thank you truly, Bison, for that, bro. Because without you, I would have never even thought of it, dog.
Like I said, I love watching my people win. So I'm happy to hear it. It does bring up, before we talk about these artists, that actually does bring up a really good point, because like Joe was saying, honestly, Degen Poet cooked right there, right? Like, that was awesome. I made some money off of that. I also bought a full set. I do have a Jigglypuff as well now. So that's
no way,
that's
you
good.
got a Jiggly?
Yeah,
get a
well,
Jacob yet.
I wasn't able to mint it. I bought it off secondary for like
Well,
3 point something. So
well, that's solid. I need to go get one. I didn't even realize that there was any left in secondary. I gotta go check that out.
Yeah. So yeah, Wiz is saying, hell yeah, that series is great. Squirtle owner, dude, it's really fun art, and DJ Poet continues to set the standard for me. And I know John Lay has done it with a couple of editions now, but editions versus one-on-ones. And I want to talk about that real quick because I think when we're looking at short to medium term in the one-on-one space, editions by far best play you can make because there is stuff, and DJ Poet is hands down one of the best. I would say right there with John Lay. Obviously, we saw the first edition absolutely go nuclear. On a 5 soul mint, you could have gotten it out at 40 souls. So there's an 8x right there. Good morning. Was a 1 soul mint, and I think the top it hit on that was about 8 souls. So there's an 8x right there. And we see with additions as well. Pikachu is sitting at a 45 soul floor last time I checked. We were able to get that just for having all 3 of those first Pokemon. So I know Joe got 2 of them. So
that's nuts, man. That's right. What I'm talking about.
So yeah, it's additions are more fun if you're looking for that, like, hey, maybe I can make some quick money, maybe I can scalp or trade or anything like that. But when it comes to one-on-one, I like finding the disparity. It is a longer time horizon. So I always tell everybody, if you're actually going with the true one-on-ones, there's only one collection, one piece you're auctioning off. Look, the auction is what takes away what market values it at right now, right? When you win an auction, you are paying top dollar for what the demand is of that project. The only way that it increases in value is when it increases in notoriety, right? So when people start seeing some eyes on the artist itself or see the piece and they didn't know about exchange art, they're like, man, that's a really cool piece. That's when it raises in value. But that usually takes at least a month in time. So if you buy a one-on-one piece at auction, do not expect a return on it for at least a month. I've already said collections are the way to go as far as like these thematic collections. Dorian, I know last time I checked, was winning Proteon's the cooler one. Personally, I love the lithium one versus the bear. Lithium sweet, and reminds me a lot of mine as far as Mantis goes. I love the music that goes with it, but these thematic collections are where it's at if you think you want some alpha in the medium term. So
I want to thank you too, Bison, man. I wouldn't have any exposure to the one-of-one space if it wasn't for you. It's like I was looking at Hello Blinks. Is that how you pronounce her name?
High Blinks. Yeah. So High Blinks. We'll talk about her too because
Yeah, so I was just about to bring her up real quick, but her collection Hoodlums, it's like the fact that I was able to find that, even though I was immediately priced out, it was only because of you, man, because I was looking for one-of-one artists in different collections or whatnot, and I stumbled upon Hoodlums, which is amazing art. So she's awesome. And going back to Proteon, what is it? The Paradise of Aftermath or the collection of Aftermath or whatnot?
Yeah, Portraits of the Aftermath. Yeah.
Yes. I'm currently bidding on lithium right now. Bison and I got into a little bidding war last week, and he won. So I'm hoping to pick up this one this week. And right now I'm winning the bid, so I got my fingers crossed. But yeah, his work is awesome, man.
Yeah, still 6 hours left. There's a lot of time.
When are you guys going to learn not to speak about your auctions until
bro, hey, look, all I'm saying is Dorian ran me up. I'm mentioning it on stream so somebody else can run him up.
What? That'll be fine. That'll be fine.
Look, it does bring us up to a good point because Dorian almost brought me to my point where it's like, hey, make sure you're setting yourself on like, this is the highest I will bid for this, and make sure you set yourself on it. It's a really good trading principle in general, but when it comes to these auctions, you can get carried away and like, hey, I really want this piece, and then you end up spending more than you had allocated for it. But in the news of the one-on-one space, there's a couple series that are coming to an end that, for me personally, watching these one-on-one series take off in the 2 months or so that I've been in the one-on-one space, Lurkers is auctioning off its final piece by Laura L. If you guys don't know who Laura L is, I will go ahead and share my screen real quick just so you guys can check out the piece. But this is the final piece of the Lurker series. She did it. This is almost like a kid's book. There's an audiobook that goes with it. Is at 269 soul for this final piece, and there's 2 hours left. I guarantee you it's going at least over 300. I'd say 400, maybe even crossing that 500 mark. This is an iconic piece for me. She very rarely uses colors she has in the past 2 pieces. So watching something like this, it's a sentimental moment to see some of these one-on-one artists come from. I think the first pieces she auctioned off went for like 20 SOL or something, and now they're at 269. So it is one of those things that you see those artists start taking off, and by the end of the collection, man, you start seeing like, holy crap, this is going for like 400 SOL. Yep. She did have a secondary sale for 375 on one of her pieces. So there's alpha there, right? And you can hit big on some of these one-on-one artists, but for me personally, I just go in with the expectation that I'm supporting awesome artists like this. There is also another piece or series that just ended, Voxel Monkeys. So if you guys don't know what Voxel Monkeys are, they're actually on Magic Eden too, which I thought was interesting. Number 10 for top collections in the past 24 hours. But the last Voxel Monkey sold for 863.55 SOL, man. I love to see it. Adam Ape is a GOAT. One of the, for me, this is like a blue chip one-on-one series, right? And this is one of the status quo here. So love seeing Adam Ape win. I was able to get on a space with Papa Moo Moo. If you guys don't know who he is one of the heads of Bot Heads, as well as the curator for Big Brain Gallery. So he got on Malbec with Moo Moo is on Wednesdays nights. And we were able to talk with Adam, just a really awesome guy, and love to see him win. So those two are collections that, look, that was a lot of attention going on these collections. Now, the question is, where is that attention heading? Obviously, people will want to buy on secondary some of these legendary series, but Dorian did mention one of them, and that was High Blinks, right? So Hoodlums just came out recently. We can go check out, actually, I know it's in the popular section. So if I go to exchange art and then I go down the Founders Collection. So Hoodlums just released their first piece and went for a whopping 154.48 SOL. Love to see it. This is going to be a big collection. I knew it was going to start off strong, but 154 SOL almost instantly bought out. I was nowhere close to bidding on that. And I wasn't winning that anytime soon. So I will continue moseying in my additions and trading those and whatnot. But it is pieces like this that you should watch out for. Obviously, like we said, Proteon is another big one that has been releasing 2 a week of the Portraits of the Aftermath. I think there's going to be 30 total. So we have about 13 more weeks of that. If you guys can't get in, make sure that you watch it. But I think by the end of it, we will see at least a 50 SOL floor price on those. Not financial advice, but that just seems to be where it's headed. It's a very unique collection that I haven't seen anyone else do. So that's my one-on-one alpha for today. Make sure you watch that. I'm glad to hear Joe win on some of these additions and everything like that. And Dorian getting into the one-on-one space as well. My goal, seriously, for the next couple of months until we start seeing some more Utes pop off is bringing more attention to the one-on-one space. So have you guys been looking at anything else? Has any other collections appealed to you in the one-on-one space?
I haven't really nothing really jumped out about from the one-on-one space yet, but as I pay more attention to it, I'm sure something will come up. But I'm really bullish on the one-on-one space, man. Like the whole idea of like releasing a certain amount within a collection really forms this tight community that supports the artist or whatnot, and you get to meet people that you wouldn't otherwise. I mean, it's like I was talking to Proteon after he tweeted me out for bidding on his thing, and then somebody's like, "Oh, you overbidded me? Well, I'm going to come back for you." So it's like you start meeting these people that you would never met in any other circumstance. So that's an awesome experience with it, and you see a lot of these one-of-one artists support each other, like Proteon and High Blinks. They know each other, and then High Blinks was supporting him. So it's definitely a great environment to be in. And I think once Utes releases, a lot of one-on-one artists are going to get a huge focus when they're starting to create these awesome use traits, man. So, and those type of attention on those use traits are going to bring back attention to their primary collections. So I'm just excited for the future of one-on-one artists and the progression in this space.
Yeah, Joe, you cooked on, dude, I didn't think about grabbing more than one of each set. I was just like, I'm going to be the very best that no one ever was, right? So I'm going to make sure I have the whole set. But you're like, no, I'm going above that. I'm grabbing extra so I can liquidate them. And man, those things absolutely cooked.
Yeah, I grabbed a few Charmanders at like 1.2 soul. Squirtles I think was below 1 point something 3 soul. I got the Bulbasaurs below 2 soul. The Pikachu's for free. So yeah, I was able to make a nice bag, and I dumped it all in the dust around like $1.80 something on the pullback. So, but yeah, as I'm looking at dust right now, guys, is a quick alpha of my alpha, right? Because I can't give one beautiful alpha like Bison there. That's next level. My alpha for you on dust is looking like we're actually going to continue a bit here. We're showing continuation on the Heiken Aishis right around that $2.40 region. And then I'm looking at the dust soul pair on Radium, and we have a nice buy wall starting to build. And with Solana chopping right now on this pennant, I think there's a good chance people will start moving some soul pumped up a little bit to 38. They might take some soul and push it back into dust. So we might see a continuation here, but man, I'm really hard pressed to see us break 250. But then again, you have everyone holding on to dust, depending if they get the ute list, they're holding. If they do have a ute list, they're definitely holding. And then you have slowly these applications still being rolled out. That coupled with who knows any drop announcements that are coming out of thin air that Frank or Kevin will do with Dust Labs. So yeah, man, my alpha is the DCA your dust. Pay attention to key supports and resistances and get some exposure because D-Gods are going to play well off this Utes, guys. I don't want you to miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to shout out real quick, Ricky Rich in chat right now is saying that High Blinks is doing the art rework on Divine Dogs, which is a 770 collection up on Magic Eden. So,
cool. No way.
Yeah,
awesome alpha.
I know, that's what I said. So now we're getting alpha from the audience as well. This is just an alpha space, bro. Part of me almost wants to keep it low key like we have right now, where it's just a small audience, so we don't just completely run it up. Because once we start getting bigger, we can't share this stuff.
I know. No more me shilling one-on-ones like what I'm watching on.
Yeah, I just got a wallet tag from a wallet tracker that I have, and there's a big name sweeping Jekin as we speak. I mean, they just bought like 30, close to 30 off the floor. It's the bot's still going, and for above floor too.
Yeah, let's go. That's nice. I love to see it. Yeah, I bought the rarest one I could near the floor when I picked one up around 4.
That's smart, right? The G can play here. A lot of people think sweeping's a play. Finding one with really cool background and traits for these one-of-ones, right? Like that is the play for sure. So that's Bison. That's your one-of-one skills coming out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
See, it's hard for me to kind of stray away from that mindset because most of these generative plays, it is best to just stay at the floor. Don't worry about traits. Don't get involved in the Discord. Just make sure that don't get any emotional attachment and just buy and sell. But Jacan sounds like a play for me that I kind of just want one and hold it and see where it goes because I know the artists that are involved with it. So, Dorian, what are you looking at right now, Dorian?
Man, if for those who don't know, I'm extremely bullish on Taiyo. So like right now, Taiyos are having a pullback just because I think Utes is coming up soon. But once this comes back, once Utes is done, man, I think Taiyo is really going to start taking off. Their IDOs their seed round for the IDOs about to be finished. So once Graphite releases and people start making liquidity from staking again in a sustainable manner, because the biggest problem in the past is that a lot of these farm tokens have been unsustainable, and that hurt the project. And we saw like Taiyo was at its highest point when Scrap was at its highest point. So I really think once Graphite comes back around, people start gaining Graphite through staking, and they've already got a partnership with Matria. They already have a partnership with Genesis Go. I can only imagine the partnerships in the future. Projects, they start launching projects during the bull market, and Taiyos are getting access to them. I really think they're going to take off, man. So I'm just really paying attention to the Taiyo ecosystem. I'm thinking about picking up an infant because they're pretty much dirt cheap right now. I think they're around 20-something SOL, which is like a steal. So that's an easy play. Oil's on the pullback. So it's like not even just Taiyo, though. It's like other top collections, like Wells are down. That's still a solid collection to get into. Like Cats, I'm like, if you're still a believer in Cats, I know there's still a super strong community there. That's another great opportunity. So while the market is completely focused on like Utes right now, don't overlook these other solid plays that's on the market. And so that's 100%. My alpha.
Yeah, no, it's true. your goal when it comes to trading is to be 2 steps ahead of everybody else or where the market is, right? And I think that is 100% the play. That's why we were in dust so early, right? Because we knew this is going to be what happens, right? Now that we've seen all the attention turn to Utes and Ute list and all the money that's going in there, still bullish on them, still going to hold my Ute if I do get to mint. But I'm looking towards some of these battered down top other collections as well. And I think Taiyo is definitely the one that's on my radar for if and when I sell some of this stuff that I have on my books. That's going to be my first collection. Wisest Wizard, a good friend of Cyber Samurai, was asking, what's the best Taiyo investment? A Gen 1. So I think Dorian kind of said, it's dirt cheap right now for a Gen 2, but I would say they're pretty much. So what I've kind of deducted from the graphite numbers and everything is that the valuation comp should be about 3 to 1 for a Gen 1 to a Gen 2. And that's about what they're sitting at right now. It's 32 SOL for an infant and 90 SOL for a Gen 1. So really it's like, how much do you care too much? I think there's going to be more liquidity with infants because it's a cheaper entry point, right? And I think that if you want it for the long term, I would say Gen 1 is probably going to be your best bet.
Well said, man. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly. I don't want to shield myself too much, but I covered, like, I have a 30-minute long video going everything over Taiyo. It's like, it's so much, man. But yeah, it really depends on how much liquidity you have. And you summed it up perfectly, Bison. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. So Curve was asking, I'm going to pull up your YouTube video and throw it into the chat real quick. He was asking, where can I find info on scrap and graphite? I'm going to plug Dorian real quick.
In the video, man.
Not? Yeah, I'm going to throw that link into the description or into the chat so you guys have it on deck. Let's go ahead and give it to Curve right there. Gonna watch his video now. Yes, if you guys want to, make sure that you subscribe to Dorian. He's putting out great content, and Taiyo is definitely a play that we think personally that once speculation and hype and stuff around Utes kind of levels out, because eventually I think it will. But Frank, he's gonna always have something cooking in the background. So when I say level out, I just mean it's not gonna be parabolic. It'll be more linear, right? It's always gonna go up when the DeGod system, but there will be hype going towards Taiyo. I am almost sure of it, and that's not financial advice or anything, but that's the next play. That's where I'm rotating a bunch of profits to is try to get some scrap for graphite, try to get some oil, try to get a Gen 1 or Gen 2.
Yeah, man. I'm right there with you. And it's like, I hate to say this, but it's like everybody's so focused on what's now, and people start chasing what's now. But guess what? What's happening now has already popped off. You need to be trying to think about where the market is going. So it's like, I'm a firm believer that Taiyo is going to be that next thing that the market rotates to. Have I been wrong on this before? Of course I have. But the difference between other projects in the past is that Taiyo is also a top project. So people are going to focus more attention on there because it has more name recognition than other projects may have in the ecosystem.
100%. 100%. Joe, is there anything else you're looking at before we head out here?
No, I'm actually, once I play this dust rally, I should have about a Tesla worth of dust. And I'm looking, it, man. I'm really looking. I've been looking at Gen 1s forever, and I have a 10-liter oil I'm sitting on, and yeah, I'll definitely make some plays off of Taiyo for sure. That'll be my next spin. Actually, these divine dogs, bro. I actually don't even want to talk about it too much, but like voxel monkey vibes. Like, I don't know about this revamp. This might be dope, dude. Yeah, I have a lot of room to run here. I don't know. I mean.
I'm thinking about picking up a divine dog just because High Blaze is behind it, man.
Yeah. They're already doing a little bit of numbers. So, if you guys, there's only 31 listed. Sorry, Ricky, if you mention it on stream, I'm going to shout it out. Thank you for the alpha. So,
yeah, appreciate it, man.
Yeah. I'm going to do some more research on this. This might be my next pickup. But other than that, yeah, I'm just staying in the one-on-one space. I'm trying to make some plays. I'm keeping an eye out for, prominent artists as well as upcoming ones. And that's about it. I'm just waiting for Utes. Hopefully I get Ute listed, but
you'll get it, man.
Yeah, we will see. I'm sure if I get it, then we will have a Ute stream at some point. Well, I will definitely be doing a shoey at some point once college football comes back.
Shoey on stream?
I will do a shoey on stream. I will absolutely
do shoeys on stream.
Yep, that's happening. So, all right. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you guys for watching another episode of RareFUD Radio. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You can find me at BisonTrades on Twitter. You have at JoeSoul212 and at Dorian_W, and that is Dorian with a 3 instead of an E. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next episode, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you then.